Hi, today I'm going to be talking about the beef industry and what it takes to start and everything like that. So the products you render from the beef industry are beef products like your steak and hamburgers and brisket. And you also yield the manure that is used for fertilizer on farmland. And that's also a very cheap source of fertilizer used. And beef farms are all over Michigan, with there being 12,000 beef farmers and dairy farmers across the state. Basically, anywhere you go, you'll see them. And then, with what I found, to start a medium-sized beef farm, it takes about $650,000. Now, here it gets kind of sketchy finding these numbers out because some people it costs way less and some people it will cost way more, depending on what you already own and the location, because some land will be cheaper in some areas than others. And then some of the equipment you'll need is a tractor. Start out, all you really need is like a 4020 is a good sized one. Later on you can upgrade a manure spreader so you can haul out all the manure they produce. You'll want a skid steer so you can feed them easier and you're able to clean the pens. You'll also want a feed mixer so you can mix feed, and a lot easier and a lot faster. Makes things a lot simpler. And then you'll also want a feed bunk or feed trough. There's a couple different examples of them right here. This red one we can haul around, take to different pastures we have and stuff. Right now it's just in here. They're cleaning up what the cows didn't eat. And then there's a normal feed bunk. We use this more when we're first starting them off, bucket feeding them, getting their guts ready to take full feed. And once they're on full feed, we will mix enough feed in the mixer and dump it into a self-feeder so they can eat whenever they want and gain the most pounds. Okay. And you'll also want a facility that has pasture. If you're growing them grass-fed, you'll want the pasture ground. And if you're feeding them like a conventional feedlot, you'll want a couple different pens. We have 4 set up in this barn right here. And when this is full, there's a lot more in here. There's not that much right now, but these are normally the finishing pens. We do use them to calve the cows out in the winter, the far pen down there, because it sets up nicely with our alleyway and everything. You'll also, at the beginning, you will want supplies like feed and bedding, because that's what they need to live. We bed with straw generally, so they eat it and it helps their guts stay healthier and stay working. We use straw for that. Just a minute there, I'll run around. But we use straw for that, as it takes longer to go through the rumen, so they don't eat as much and they'll eat more corn. And then you'll also want a water source. I would recommend getting an automatic water source so you don't have to fill up a trough every day or twice a day, because that can take a lot of time out of your day, as they do drink a lot of water. And then there's a couple different product services or buyers that buy the products, and there's a couple different ways you can get rid of them. One way is you can buy a group of steers on contract, so you'll buy them at like 650 pounds and you might only grow them to like 1,000 and somebody else will take them over, or you can buy them at 650 pounds and grow them all the way up to finishing weight, which is normally around $13.50. And when you buy them, you have them set at a certain sell price, and that's more of like a guaranteed profit that way. You can also sell them through the stockyards, and buyers like Tyson will come in, they hire people and bid on animals. They try to grade them to the best of their ability and buy them that way. But that can be more of a hit or miss for the farmer, as prices do fluctuate throughout the year, and you do go with a chance of selling them for a loss, which is never good, especially when they take over a year normally to raise. And then the final way is to sell them to individual buyers, take them to like Jerome Country Market and have them butchered that way, and already have them sold to the buyer, so the buyer gets a whole steer. You could also set up a sell place at your own house, but that way you gotta get licensed and take them to FDA inspected facilities like Countryside and sell hamburger and stuff through your freezer at your house. And then some of the market factors that impact this industry, I'm going to start walking over here, show you some over here and explain, but some of it is like the corn, the cash crops portions. If we have like a drought or something like that, natural disaster that limits the corn production, that's a big one because that's one of the main feeds they get. It'll really have an effect because if corn prices are high, it costs more to raise a steer, which that'll make your profit margins smaller, which is never a good thing. And then consumer demand's also a big one. Different cuts of meat or different types of meat. Sometimes cull cow is worth more than the prime steer, just because there's more of a need for hamburger than there's a premium steaks and the premium cuts, and the cull cows are cheaper, so that's what they use for hamburger. And also at times there can be too much product on the market, which will drop the prices. And then raw materials, kind of just like the straw for bedding. You do want hay at the beginning when they're this size right here. Just good for their growth, good for their gut. And then it connects to other ag industries like the processing plants and the cash crop farmers, because most of the cash crop farmers products goes to the beef industries or like the pork industries, the ones that feed the product. Okay, so over here is the feed mixture we have. There's an auger up there so we can dump it out. There's a couple different ways we can put feed in it, and it just seems to work pretty well for us. You will also want, I forgot to mention this earlier, some wagons like this so you can put feed in it, and it makes it easier because you don't really want to be taking feed out of the grain leg and everything every day, corn mixing it all. This way you can mix it every so often, or even buy it pre-mixed feed or a complete pellet, and then you only feed them a couple buckets a day, because if you put guys like these on full feed right now, their stomachs aren't built up for that, so they can drop over dead, and they can also get sick, and if you catch it early enough, and you basically have to build them all back up over again. So you just want to build them up slow. And that's pretty much it for the beef industry. There are also other portions like the show side of it, and that does cost a little more money to get into, as you need to buy higher quality animals and some other equipment. One other thing you might want to buy for the beef industry, I forgot to mention, is like a chute, so you can run them through it and vaccinate them. And you'll want all your syringes and medicine and stuff like that. And if you use the growth hormones like gain more or anything like that, you will want that. And that's pretty much it.